let's jump in here with our first question for you ladies. And it says this, and this is from Sarah. She says, I have, our first 2 girls didn't grow up with terrible twos. Our third already going through it at 18 months, and she says, I'm at a loss. She mainly throws a fit when we sit down to eat and food is placed in front of me. Also, if the attention isn't on her or the other child sits in my lap, for example, please help. Is this just a third child issue or a youngest child issue? And then she says, all my social work education didn't prepare me for this. So what can you tell Sarah about terrible twos with her 18 months?
Well,
take it away, Marcy.
It's been a long time since I had a terrible two. My girls are 43 and 41, so it's been many years. But when I read Sarah's question, I kind of read it wrong, and so we were discussing it beforehand. So 2 things that I can think of is that anytime our kids throw a fit, we shouldn't allow that to continue for very long. So sometimes you may have to pick them up and take them to their room, and I know that can be kind of stressful at meal times because you're probably hungry and everybody else is, and you just want to eat and get through it. But I just don't think we should give in to fits. So one of the things that Bobby said beforehand, and I'll let her go into more detail, is make sure you have some clear direction before meal times. So starting with tomorrow maybe, telling your little one what you're expecting of her. And an 18-month-old can understand. I think they can understand what you're saying to them, especially if you've said it and then you follow through with the consequences if they don't do it. So, and just to teach them, there's quite a few Bible verses, and I know this, Sarah. So, Sarah, if you're listening, you can
Marcia,
come grab
I don't want to cut you off, but can you shift? You can
shift over.
Come grab me tomorrow night at church, and I'll give you the verses that I have. But I have a lot of verses about sharing and teaching our kids to rejoice with those who rejoice and weep with those who weep. And so there's a lot of verses about teaching our kids how to share mom and share time with mom and dad and those kind of things. So,
yeah. So what Marcy was saying, to me, it goes in all areas that you prep your kids ahead before you're going to do something. So if they've been throwing a fit before dinner, then, 20 minutes before dinner, I would say, honey, we're going to have this little talk, and I would tell them, however they can understand, don't throw a fit when we sit down to eat. If you do, you're going to get a spanking and go to your room, or whatever your consequence is. So the rest of everybody can have dinner, right? And that's the same thing in, when you're going to church.
Yes.
On the way to church, I used to say, like, all right, so we're going to church, and this is how we're going to behave, and this is what we're going to do. And when Mrs. So-and-so says something, what are you going to say back? I prep all the time, not once. Every time we went to church, I said it. And on the way to the store, right? I'm telling them, when we are in the line at the grocery store, don't ask for anything. I don't want you doing that. And so you just got to prep them on how we're going to behave in those situations. So, and I think too, sometimes we think, sometimes they're really stubborn, like they just have that personality, and you just have to be more stubborn.
Yes.
You're just going to win. The end. Yeah. I mean, that's just what we say. We're winning.
Yeah.
So you just got to keep on. Right. Yeah.
And if your little one wants to eat your food and not her food, well, my Stephanie used to do that. So Steph, if you're listening, you probably don't remember, but she didn't want to eat her own food. She wanted to eat my food. And so the thing is really what she wanted wasn't that my food was better than hers, is that she wanted her way. And so it's always contextual. I think we have to understand that the spirit behind our kids acting up can be childish. It can be tired, maybe not feeling good. Yes, those things are true, but these kind of attitude issues are just they want their way. So you have to, like Bobby said, you have to win.
Okay, so one thing I've noticed by doing multiple shows with you guys is a couple things, and number one is that you always give clear expectations, which I really like, and coming out of corrections, I haven't worked there in a number of years now, but one of the things they train you at the academy is clear expectations, and a lot of times the inmates are like little kids, right? And so that's one of the things that I like, but you also tailor the issue with the kid or whatever to the kid.
Right.
Yes.
And so even though you're giving general principles, the advice is usually kid specific.
Yes.
And so when Sarah says that it's her third kid and she's acting differently than the first two, we have she's right at 18 months and she's our third one. And it is unique how different personalities they are. And so one of the struggles has been throwing a fit when Amber feeds her. And one of the things I just noticed from my dad is that I am pretty fierce when it comes to telling her no. so that obviously if I tell her no, I want, like we've said before on here, is that if they're going to run out in front of a car and I don't have time to count to 10.
Right.
I need her to stop, or him right now. And it's funny how I have more influence in that area than Amber, even though she tries really hard. When it comes to nap time,
Dad.
I tell her to take a nap, she lays down and takes a nap. Where sometimes it's a struggle for Amber. In fact, we just went to Hawaii and we're traveling on a plane. Amber was over there and going through all the motions and telling her no and all this stuff, and she would not sit down. So I said, switch me seats. And I just went over there, sat down and go, it's nap time, you need to take a nap. And she goes, and that was it.
I just want to punch you guys.
But I think
It's the daddy thing.
yeah, and sometimes I say this because sometimes they're single moms and stuff, and they have to play both parts.
Right.
So, and one thing my wife is, she's very, very soft, and so when she yells, it's not like when I yell. And so sometimes you need to, I guess, if I just say it right, bring it up a notch so that they understand that enough is enough.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And I think daddies ought to get in on it.
Yes.
Like
Should help.
if mama's sitting down to have food and baby starts yelling because she doesn't like that mom's paying attention to the other baby or to this, the daddy goes,
No, stop.
and let's go in the other room and let dad take care of it so mom can have some food. And daddy can even say that, sorry, this is, I don't know, Steve said that before, maybe not to an 18-month-old, but this is my wife. So we're not going to treat her like that. Maybe not saying that to an 18-month, but that's going to be the premise that when they're older, you're going to say that to them.
Well, and sometimes I think, like I'll just use as an example, we want our kids to maybe to have a choice. Do you want macaroni and cheese or peanut butter and jelly sandwich? Well, that's okay if you're asking that ahead of time. But if you sit down with macaroni and cheese and they yell, I want a peanut butter sandwich, well, that's not the time to give in to them to give them a peanut butter sandwich.
No.
So I think it's context. It's like what's happening in the moment. So I may understand that my daughter has a headache or she's sick or she doesn't feel good or she didn't get her nap today. Well, that's okay, but that's no excuse to act up.
Yep.
Now, is she going to act up? Of course she is, but I have to train her past that. And I think sometimes that's what happens with moms. We just kind of give up because we're tired.
Yeah.
We put up with it all day long. So we have to be really wise to, if you say something, you got to follow through. Because if you don't, you just train them that tomorrow, they can do it the next time.
Yep.
And they'll keep doing it.
Yep.
They'll just keep taking advantage of that.
And about
'Cause they're smart.
food, this is me, but I didn't make 5 different meals for everybody what they wanted. So if we're having spaghetti, that's what we're having. And even my kids, when they're older, sometimes they sit down and like I remember Nathan at the bar one time being like, I don't want spaghetti. And before he can finish his sentence, I'm like, I didn't ask for a vote. This is what we're having. Yeah. And then they were like, all right, well, I guess that's what we're having. I don't care. I mean, and plus it's offensive to me. I just worked my buns off, right, for you
I know,
in the
to feed
kitchen
you.
to make you a yummy meal.
Right.
And now you have a complaint? No.
Yeah.
And that's what I said. That's rude. Don't say that to me.
And some people will say, oh, well, they don't want spaghetti. Well, too bad.
Yeah, we didn't ask
Then
it.
I guess they can go get a job and make steak if they want. I don't know. I just think we give it. We're so
That's right.
wishy-washy and we cave so easy to our kids. And again, I am speaking from experience. I caved all the time.
Yeah, right.
So I'm not saying that I did this perfectly.
Right.
But
Okay, so one thing Amber taught me, and when you're talking about, like asking them or giving expectations, I think of my first thought is, well, they're 18 months. How you're gonna have a conversation with them? But what Amber taught me was she did it's called the baby signing time, where you do sign language, and it was amazing to me. Now we're on our 3rd child, but it's amazing to me how much they know what you're saying,
totally know.
but they can't say
Right,
the
they
words.
can't repeat
Articulate
that.
But she has them signing, and I don't know them all, so I have to go, hey, what did she just say? And to talk to my 1-year-old so I know what she's signing. But it's amazing, and at 1 year old, she's telling me what kind of food she wants, if she wants a banana. And
Saying
so,
please, thank
yes.
you.
So you can have, what I'm saying is, a very adult conversation,
Yeah.
so to speak, with a 1-year-old. They know what you're saying.
Yes, they do.
So tailor to that.
yeah, so if I were Sarah, I'd say tonight or tomorrow for dinner, listen, before we sit down, like Bobby said, you're going to eat what I put in front of you, and you're not going to scream for mommy's food. Mom, we're all going to sit and eat quietly. And if
And
you
I'm
don't,
not going to hold you.
and
Mommy's
I'm
not
gonna
holding you. You're
hold
sitting in
and
your
if-
high chair.
Yeah, and if you don't, I'm going to pick you up from your high chair and take you into your room.
Or daddy is.
Or daddy is, yeah, however you say
Nick,
it.
get on that.
Trust me, she may not, she's 18 months old,
Yeah.
but trust me, when she does it tomorrow night and you pick her up and you take her into her room, she just got it.
And it might, even if it takes a couple nights, right? She gets
will.
it and she might try it again because she thinks you're soft.
Or you just say
right?
no,
Yeah.
even if you want to give her a warning and she starts doing that. No, sit
Right.
quietly.
And then she does it, then you're out.
I mean, ask your 10-month-old if they want a cookie.
Yeah, they know. Yes
know.
or no.
Do you want a piece of candy?
Would you rather have cake or macaroni and cheese?
They know.
Okay.
And you know, well, I have one more thing real
No-
quick.
no problem.
We had one time, how do I say this? I'll say it was my kids, but it really wasn't. But anyway, anyways, we were watching some kids. Maybe this seems mean. No one will want us to babysit after this. But what the wife said to me was, well, they only eat this. And I was like, huh, okay. All right, well, thanks. Well, I didn't make that night. That's not what we're having. We're having this. And the little kid was like, I don't like that. And I went, hot dogs. And I said, well, I don't serve hot dogs at this meal. So if you don't want to eat, that's fine.
Yeah.
You don't have to eat. But then what we did on purpose, this is like the me, is that night me and Steve got out the most delicious ice cream ever.
Yeah.
And everybody got it except for the one who didn't eat. Because, we told her, if you don't eat, then you don't get dessert. We have yummy ice cream afterwards. So, but hey, fine. And so she didn't, and she just sat there while we were like, oh, is this good? Or, oh my gosh, I think this is the best ice cream we've ever. Well, she ate all of her food after that.
Yeah.
Everything her mom said she
Amazing.
didn't like. There we are. There it was. She didn't have a hot dog for breakfast.
I know, isn't that funny?
So anyways, that might seem mean to people, but anyways.
Kids know
That's
what they
how I
can
did
get
my
away
kids
with.
also. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know what's mean is letting them do that up until adulthood because it destroys their lives if they can't control themselves.
It's not all about you.